Hi, I'm Debbie Brown. I'm the author of Amethyst Eyes, and you're on JRLive1 Live.
Hello, and thank you for stopping by. I'm your host, JRLive1, and welcome to Positive Power 21 Network, where you get your positive on. This is a worldwide podcast for growth, wealth, and success. Thank you.
Positive Power 21.org, Internet Radio.
Are you aware of the many ways that you can heal your body naturally using alternative methods? My name is Valerie Moore, and I'm the author of My Healing Therapies. My Healing Therapies is a book that unveils 7 ways to naturally heal your body, restore your mind, and revive your spirit. Visit my website at www.purpleroseHolisticHealth.com or reach me by phone at 443-451-2689.
Hey, have you ever heard of Vagina Talk? Have you ever had a conversation with your vagina? If you haven't, you're missing out on one hell of a conversation. This is Purple Barbie, the author of This Is Your Vagina, The Vagina is Where the Heart Is. Join me on a quick adventure as one woman reclaims her life by releasing her past and reestablishing her future, all with the help of the one who knows her the best. You can call her V.
Are you looking to vacation soon? Let Roberts Travel Services help you reach your travel needs. We specialize in group travel, honeymoon, girlfriend getaways, mission trips, and more. You can reach us at 404-939-6638. You can email us at robertstravelservices@gmail.com and on the web at www.robertstourismservices.com and look us up on Facebook at Roberts Travel Services.
What's stopping you from making more, having more, and being more? Hi, I'm Helen McMillan. I'm a success coach. I can help you shift into your $1 million zone of joyful success. Be your most magnetic, confident, and powerful self. The first step is to get my free ebook, 7 Simple Ways to Shift into Your $1 Million Zone. Go to www.yourmilliondollarzone.com and download it now.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and welcome to Positive Power 21.org. I am the voice of JRLive1 Live, and when it's all positive, it's all power. That's Positive Power. And today's sponsors are my new show, He Said, She Said. That's right. It's coming August 15th, this Friday. That's right, on PositivePower21.org. And my co-hosts are Purple Barbie and Ramon Marquise from Miami Beach. That's right. Ramon is from Miami Beach, and Purple Barbie is from South Carolina. All right, they're going to be helping me open up my show. It's adult relationship talk, so if you're under 18, please don't tune in. Talk to your parents about that. And also, we want to say thank you to author and motivational speaker Bunny DeBarge. She will be releasing 2 of her books real soon, y'all. We're so excited. As this fall is right around the corner. We're almost in the middle of August right now, and her books are called The Kept Ones. You got Volume 1 and Volume 2. That's right. It's a definitive story of the DeBarge family, captured in 2 volumes, from their spectacular rise to the top of the R&B music royalty, their fall from grace, to their re-emerging careers. That's right. Her books are coming real soon. All right. Thank you, everybody, for holding tight. And we've been having a real good night so far. We've been enjoying our guests. And tonight we have an exciting guest. She's calling us from Canada. That's right. One of the Canadians. That's right. Calling in to JRLive1 Live. Her name is Debbie Brown. She's the author of Amethyst Eyes. All her life, Debbie has spun stories in her mind, watching characters come to life seemingly by themselves, After working as a nurse, teacher, martial arts instructor, artist, and CIC officer in the Canadian Forces, not to mention her many hobbies from woodworking to auto mechanics and holistic medicine, her life reads like a story itself. And yet her favorite thing is still cozying by a fire with a good book, country living with her husband, JP, and her youngest of 5 children. After graduating from the Institute of Children's Literature Advanced Writing course, she is finally devoting herself to writing these stories, taking us all on a ride we won't quickly forget. Welcome to the show, Jerry Royce Live. Debbie Brown, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Glad to have you. Calling from Canada. I've been to Quebec City, and my girlfriend and I, we had a really, 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 really good time. Loved it there.
I'm about 3 hours away from Quebec City, but as part of my military work, we've been transferred from the base in Saint-Jean up to Quebec City. So when I have to go somewhere, it's a 3-hour drive.
You know, one thing I really remember about that city, I remember everybody, they were really good dressers. Everything seemed to be like brass and glass. The malls were underground. It was really, really cold. But that was the cleanest city I've ever seen. Nothing was on the ground. Nothing.
No, a lot of our cities are like that.
Wow. Incredible. Beautiful place. And I think my brother just got back from Toronto, I believe, for him and his wife. Just spent a few days up in Toronto. So I'm looking forward to him, you know, his vacation and see some nice pictures and everything. Wow, that is great. So what's going on? How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. It's hot up here right now, which is surprising.
Oh, is it?
We haven't had much a summer.
Yeah, I know. Same here. It was very humid, cloudy, windy. I think we got rain coming tomorrow. But, you know, hey, I was hoping August was going to be super duper hot, like in 110s, you know, something like that, something fun.
We made it up to about 88 today. But
yeah, real cool summer this year. That's
it's
cool.
a cool
That's
summer
fun.
because, you know, when our winter gets here, we go down to like minus 30, minus 40 degrees in the Celsius range, but that's about pretty close to what, you know, it is for you guys in the Fahrenheit.
Yeah, because I was there in October, and it felt like Maryland in January. It was very, very cold in October. And I remember I wore a light weight buttery leather hipster jacket, you know, thinking I was going to be real cool, you know, real slick looking and everything. And yet I had to travel underground, you know, to get from, you know, store to store because it was so cold above ground.
I know.
Wow.
So in October.
Yeah. Ooh, man. Well, better you than me. All right. Well, we're glad to have you, and we're here to talk about your book, and it's called Amethyst Eyes. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yep.
Amethyst?
The color amethyst, or like the crystal amethyst.
Oh, beautiful. All right. Well, we're going to talk about you first. Exciting life. I saw a martial arts instructor. I actually I chair a Taekwondo program. My daughter started when she was around 5 or 6 years old, and I'm still chairing it. I think she's 13, about to turn 14. Still running the program. One of the guys that work with the NFL is one of my instructors, and the kids in the community really love it. So are you still teaching?
I haven't taught because we'll get into it a little bit later on, but I have a ligament that was torn in my leg.
Oh.
So I wasn't able to continue, with martial arts.
Yeah, because you definitely have to be in really good shape to do it. I don't do it. I don't practice myself, but if something happened, I think I can kind of hang in there for at least 2 minutes. Maybe not even 2 minutes. I'm just hoping I can last for 2 minutes. With all these people studying, all these advanced martial arts, like UFC fighters. You just don't want to get in the brawl with the wrong person. That's what I'm hoping.
My first
never
black
happened.
belt comes from Kyokushinkai, which is a street fighting full contact martial art.
Interesting. So where you learned that form of martial arts from?
I had a teacher in the same town where we used to live out in Rigo, which is kind of a offset town, and we studied 3 hours a week intensive training. Not 3 hours, 3 nights a week for about 3 hours each time.
Wow.
And I was the first and only woman black belt to come out of his school in 20 years.
Wow, that is intense. 3 days, 3 hours.
Yeah.
Wow. That's like going to war. He's a real intense teacher. All right, so you worked as a nurse. So you worked as a nurse, a school teacher. What grades did you teach?
I taught both elementary and high school, everything from English, gymnastics to biology and physics.
Wow, good for you. My mom, retired teacher, and my mother-in-law.
Okay.
Wow, yeah, so much in common. My son, his grandmother was a nurse.
Okay.
my dad was an artist. I can't match you with that CIC officer thing though. That sounds pretty intense. Tell us what that is.
CIC
is
officer. Cadet Instructor Cader, and I work right now primarily with cadets. Whereas before my injury, I was going to different bases and teaching officers, like basic officer training.
Good.
And now I'm working with kids. So they're 12 to 19 years old. The day they turn 19, they have to change from our program.
Oh, okay. So what is they like police officers or? No,
it's for real. It's a paramilitary program. So I'm military, and I'm working as a part of a youth program.
Okay.
So
great.
The goal is to make better citizens with these kids. It's free for them to participate in. We supply the uniform and the training, and all the summer training is done on different military bases throughout the country. Even we have one cadet right now who's in Scotland.
Good. So what kind of kids are these? Are they like, kids that were in trouble with the law? Or?
We're open to anyone. So, we've taken kids in trouble. We've taken kids who had been, taken away from their parents and placed in foster homes. And we have your regular, kid who's afraid of his own shadow or whatever. There's something for everyone in it. It helps build confidence. It's great because by putting them in uniform, everyone starts off on the same level. You're the rich kid, you're the poor kid, you've had a hard life, and we teach them all the basics. And then when we're training them, we teach them how to manage with the skills that they have, and it's a step-by-step process. Whereas if they're in school, we'll say, okay, well, you failed this, you didn't pass, you're not going to go on to something else. If they don't succeed, we'll literally take them by the hand and walk them through the steps to make them learn how to do it. They may not become very high-ranking or leaders of the group, but they will progress according to their abilities.
Wow, that program sounds fantastic. Sounds like something you need to adopt here in the United States. I mean, you guys always come up with the swell programs that's for everybody, to help everybody, like your health program. We kind of adopted some of that, and this sounds like something that we need to take by the wrist. The CIC officer, Canadian Forces.
Yeah, because like in the States a long time ago, military duty was compulsory. You had to go for your 2-year stint. And they had the cadet program, which was originally to go and get recruits for the armed forces. And after the wars, they decided that, well, we don't need that anymore. But what do we do with the program? So they decided to convert the program to be more youth-orientated and to keep it. But it's, like I said, it's free for kids. And I'm Air Force. And I've had kids that have come in and learned how to fly planes free through our program.
Wow.
They come out of it. They don't even have a driver's license, but they can fly a plane.
Yeah, isn't that something? And they do have some smaller programs like that here, because I know I do have a friend who, her son went through a program similar to this, like a flight school, because he was part of some ROTC, they call it, in middle school. I think he was in middle school. Okay. So they coming down to the younger kids now, giving them exposure to the airplanes and I guess flight classes and things like that. Wow, that is fantastic. And also, we're gonna get to the other part later, but woodworking. So what are you doing with the wood? I love woodworking.
I love making furniture.
Oh wow, furniture. So what have you made so far? It's
different
kind of outdone you. I'm sorry. Something outdone you. You have outdone yourself. You say, "Wow, I can't believe I did that."
I guess it would have to be my baby's bed when I was pregnant with her. Because working around the belly was not an easy task.
While she was pregnant, I was about to say.
So I decided that I had to make her a bed. I wanted to make it myself for her.
Wow.
Different pieces of furniture and cabinets and what have you. So.
Yeah. Do you still have it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can't get rid of that. No way.
I figure maybe one of the older kids will take it eventually. So.
Yeah, or they can, or the grandkids can use it as for their doll babies or something.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, auto mechanics. What are you doing with the cars? You rebuild the engine, restoring a car.
Anything that I can do on my own, I do.
Oh, so you're not taking on a restoration project like one of those antiques?
No, I haven't gotten into that. No, it sort of came from the need that I had to have the brakes done on my van at one point, and I didn't have the money to go to the garage, so I said, okay, get down there and do it yourself.
That's right. And you study holistic medicine.
Yes.
Wow, a nurse who's been used to giving people prescriptions from the doctor. Mm-hmm. So what happened? What made you decide to go into holistic medicine?
I started watching people that were sick and that shouldn't be sick. And I remember at one point working in the children's hospital that I had 2 patients with the same illness, and in the end, one survived and one did not. And I'm looking at this saying, well, they had the same disease, they had the same treatment, they had similar family lives. It wasn't like one was neglected and the other one was loved, and I couldn't figure, one would make it through or not. And so I started thinking there has to be something else. There has to be something some other underlying condition that would contribute to a failure or success. Right. And then I started getting back to my grandmother always. I remember at one point she'd hurt her ankle, and it was really badly swollen and infected. And her cousin, he came in and he told me, you go out there and you pick this kind of these leaves and what have you, and you bring it back. And he made a poultice, put it on her ankle, and he drew everything out of it within a couple of hours. The ankle was back to normal.
It pulled all the toxin.
Yeah.
So the leaves pulled the toxin out of her ankle.
Yes, it did. And I realized that, okay, so food and natural remedies, natural herbs, they have, they can do different things to the body that maybe medicine can't, or, they should work together and what have you. So I started looking at a more natural approach to the healing, and I started taking different courses and what have you on that. And I had the chance also to work as a translator for one of the natural food stores and what have you, so I translated all of their products from French into English, and I learned a lot doing that at the same time.
Yeah, I believe it. Now you mentioned earlier you're having problems with your ligaments, so you're not studying martial arts anymore. Now, what are you doing now to try to speed up the recovery with that, the healing process?
There's things called the superfoods, different like supplements that you can take, and one of them is phytoplankton, which adds a lot more oxygen into the blood and what have you. And in just the week and a half that I just started taking this one, I've seen a difference in the pain is almost completely gone now.
Wow. So what does it do? Kind of take inflammation out of the body? Is that
it
what
helps
it does?
the inflammation. It helps with the healing process. It helps the cells actually regenerate themselves, but regenerate themselves in a healthy way.
So where can one get that? Because I've been having extreme problems with my right shoulder. I was a baseball player. I'm trying to throw my arm out all the time, and it caught up with me. So I need help. And, heat and ice compress is not working anymore for me, and I can't take ibuprofen anymore. I just took too much of it.
It's bad for your body too. So.
Yes,
but the phytoplankton is actually very good for that.
Good. So you'll be able to email that, inbox me that so I can look it up?
Sure.
Yeah, appreciate that.
You can get it online. I think even Amazon sells it, so you can have it delivered right to your door.
Good, absolutely. I'll be right on. As soon as you inbox that spelling for me, I'll be right on it. All right, now your life does read like a story itself. Any chance of you writing a bio? Well, you're not ready yet.
I'm not quite ready yet because, mind you, I've done a lot of healing over the past few years. There's a lot of stuff that I wasn't quite ready to revisit, I think.
Yeah. Now, you're married. Your husband's name is JP, and you have, 5 children?
Yes, but I lost one. So I had 6 originally, now we have 5.
Okay. Well, sorry to hear that. All right, so you have 5 children. What are their ages?
My son is 26. I have a daughter who will be 25 this August. Her sister will be 24 in August. Then Zoe just turned 6 in May. We lost
6?
Emma. 6, yeah. Zoe's 6. Emma would have been 4. And Savannah will be 1 on the 29th.
Oh, so you have a recent baby. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Congratulations. Wow.
Thank you.
And the oldest you said is 26.
26, yeah.
Wow, you guys are hanging in there. Now, I have a son that's 31 now, and my youngest son is 11. I don't think we're going to be having any more babies. No.
It was a decision, to start over and to have more kids.
Yeah.
I thought I was done. I was planning on being deployed, and, we ended up starting another family, so.
Yeah, I see. Well, good for you guys. Good for them. But you really, you're really involved with children, so it's, that's good for you guys.
Yeah.
Now, you graduated from the Institute of Children's Literature Advanced Writing course. Exactly what is that?
Well, they have a basic writing course, and when I was doing the writing course, I actually wrote AMETHYST alongside this course. And you work one-on-one with an instructor, and I kept her informed as to what was going on. And at one point, when I finished that course, she submitted all my academic results to the dean. And he got back to me and said, you know what, we've gone over your files. I have a recommendation from your instructor, and we would like you to offer you a select course an advanced course for select graduates. And they don't let just anybody into there because their school has a ratio of how many students are actually published.
Mm-hmm.
They want to keep that up there. And I eventually accepted, and I started the course. And what the course is supposed to do is to teach you how to write a book. So for the first half, you do your rough draft. And the second half, you go through the editing process and bringing it to the point where it will be ready for publication. And when I got halfway through the course, my instructor said, okay, well, you did a really good job. It's too clean. Write another book. And I said, well, I'm not a chicken laying eggs here. I just can't pop them up. But I ended up writing a third book with the course.
Wow.
And they've all been published, so I'm quite lucky.
Yeah, congratulations. Now, a myth means what? Purple, mauve is a color?
It's purplish.
Amethyst? Okay, it's purplish. Purplish eyes. All right. Well, tell us about your book. Now, was this the first, second, or third book?
This is the first one that I wrote.
Oh, the first one. Wow. Okay. So this is the only one that has made it this far?
No, they're all published, the books that I've written. But the sequel to AMETHYST will be coming out within the next 2-3 weeks or within the next month. So this is why it's fun to talk about this one.
Yeah. See, I'm looking at it now. One of the characters, it looks like his eyes are more like not quite a purple, but what you call that, like lavender color?
Yeah.
Okay. And they have the sun, the moon in the background, kind of remind you a little bit of Twilight. So tell us, the length of the book is 295 pages, so nice lengthy book. It's $2.99 on Kindle.
Yep.
Which is selling for almost $12 in paperback, correct?
Yep.
All right, good. Okay, now you have a lot of book reviews out there. We're going to get into those. So tell us a little bit about your characters that's in this book, your main characters.
Well, the main character is Tommy, and he's 15 years old. He was growing up in the Canadian Rockies with his mother, and he didn't know his father. He didn't remember him because his father left when he was about 3 years old. And in the beginning of the book, they were in a car accident, and the mother dies.
Ooh. And
the mother had always told them, if ever anything happens, join the pendants. They each wore like this half of a pendant together. And in the accident, while he brings the two halves together, there's a burst of light, and then he loses consciousness. So when he wakes up in the hospital, he's told by the nurses, well, your father's contacted us, and he's coming to get you. But he doesn't remember his father. He thought his father was part of the military, and that was too engrossed in his career to take care of him or his mother. And when the father comes to get him, he realizes that, the mother must have not told their son anything about him because he's not from Earth.
Oh, wow.
He's part of the same race that we are because we were seeded from the same forefathers, if you want.
Mm-hmm.
The role of his father's people is to oversee the well-being of the other ones, to make sure that the people continue. So if there's any kind of disaster, they will intervene to make sure that life goes on.
Oh, so if a world war occurs again on the Earth, they will intervene. They would just come in and shut it down. Wow, they would shut it down.
They'll make sure that if worst case scenario, they'll transfer somewhere else to make sure that we don't die. But so Tommy, it's not just a question of saying, well, I lost my mom, I'm going to live with my dad. I don't know anything about my father. I don't know anything about these people. I don't know what their expectations of me are. And I have to fit in. I'm dealing with my anger because, you should have been there, so mom didn't die. It covers, pretty much the whole array of teenage emotions that a child is going through.
That's right.
But the father society view children very differently or more idealistically than what we do over here. It's a good journey. It's a good story.
Yeah, it does. It sounds like a really good story. Wow, I love that. Now you mentioned another character on the website of Amazon.
Jaden.
Jaden. Yeah. Now who's Jaden?
Well, Tommy's father is the commander of the spaceship, and Jaden, her father, is the chief medical officer. And she lost her mother in an accident like 2 years before, or something of the sort. But she stayed bitter anyways, and she was told, by the father and the commander that, well, you're doing really well with your training and your studies and what have you, so you will be tasked to help him fit in. And, being 14 and rebellious, she doesn't want. So she doesn't like the fact that it's been imposed on her, and she's got to help Tommy catch up so that he can fit into their society and everything. So they go through an interesting roller coaster ride of events and slowly chipping away at the ice to develop a friendship.
Wow. Now, this is considered to be a science fiction book.
Mm-hmm.
People love science fiction. Science fiction is so huge. Are you attending some of the events that's going on? Because I know it's huge in America. Huge.
Well, I love science. I've been to Star Trek conventions and different science fiction conventions over the years.
Mm-hmm.
With the baby, it was a little bit difficult to get around.
Yeah, that's right.
But I'm hoping to be at the Miami International Book Fair this fall. I would like to do that.
Yeah. You said in Miami?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's going to be nice.
Miami Book Fair International. So.
Yeah, that should be big. All right, I'm gonna get into a little bit of what some of your customers are saying about your book. All right, one reader says a great read, a great for YA that can come across to middle grade. So they feel middle grade can read this book. So it's an easy read. It's a real easy read.
It is. Well, this one was written actually for reluctant readers.
Oh, okay.
So it's a little bit more simple. The sequel is a little bit higher level of reading. But it's written in a very simple form that people, I've had my youngest reviewer, you can find him on there, is from This Kid Reviews Books. I think he was 10 at the time when he read the book. And he said that, Tommy was his most favorite character ever.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Everybody's identifying with Tommy right now. The struggles that he has, discovering himself, his whirlwind adventures. So it sounds like he's involved in the story. He's not just hanging out on the ship, letting his dad be the command. He's actually out there also. And
oh, yeah.
So we got to find out how he got out there. That's the deal. What is he doing out there? He's not trained. Now, he's young right now. So you did mention a sequel to this book. So we're going to see him as a much older, maybe an adult, or maybe just another older teenager.
In the first book, he's 15. In the second book, he's 18. And they're important ages because in their society, when they turn 18, they start what's called specific training to assume their place in the society. So it's just like a bigger step for him, and he's kind of torn between wondering if he should just go back home and live on Earth where things at times appeared simpler, or if he should stay with his father because if ever something happened on Earth, well, he'd be in a better position to help out. So there's a moment going on, and I did plan for a third and final book in this series that will be when he's older and really taking his job in their society.
That's right. Now, were you a big Star Trek fan or a bigger Star Wars fan?
Star Trek.
Star Trek, yeah. Now I was really into the TV version, but when the movie versions, I love the movie versions. I really did. I was like, I want more. But didn't they do some more of Star Trek on regular television? They
had The Next Generation that came out afterwards. I did not like the first 2 years of it, but by the third year, it was getting good. So
it was getting a little better, Yeah, I had given up.
Deep Space Nine and what was the other one? Voyager, I think.
Yeah, I kind of gave up after the first one, but now they have some more space movies coming out now, and it's like they bringing them back now, where you have these action type heroes. And one of my favorite programs that's been running, and I think it's produced and directed up in Canada, and that's Continuum. I love Continuum. Have you had a chance to see that?
I have not had a chance to see it.
Awesome. Are you into time travel?
I loved Quantum Leap. It's not quite time travel, but sort of.
Yeah, we remember that one. Well, you have to get into Continuum.
Okay.
One of my favorite characters is a young lady named Kara. She's part of a elite law enforcement group. Not like the Star Troopers, the Stormtroopers, but they're a little bit more. How can I say? Well, it's an elite group, very elite, highly trained, sophisticated weapons, and the thing about in this story that the bad guys are really sophisticated and very intelligent, and they go back in time, and there's a reason why they went back in time, which is like every episode, it never tells you why, so you just hooked onto it. So it is running on Netflix. So if you want to catch up with the first 2 seasons,
I will look into it, definitely.
Yes, and it's running right now on Sci-Fi. I'm waiting for it to finish so I can just sit there and look at all of them until I'm done. Because I don't want to have this. Oh my gosh, what happened to my girl? Love that show. Very good show. You'll love it. Do you see yourself doing time travel later on?
An interesting thing about my stories is when I'm writing something, the characters literally come alive, and I've always done, hands-on and science things in school and what have you, so I never took typing or computers when I was in school. So when I first started writing the book, I kept thinking that my kids were switching the letters around on the keyboard because I could never find the letters that I needed. So when my characters take off and go do something, I can't type fast enough to keep up with them, and I'm trying. I'm getting better, but my kids are way better than I am on the keyboard. And if time travel comes in at one point, it's going to be because they've decided that that's what's going to happen. Because I remember I'm writing the story as it's happening in front of me going, well, I can't write that, It's like, what is it? And then at one point I said, you know what, just shut up and write it and put it out there. And it was actually really good, so.
Yeah, good for you, Debbie. And Debbie, now, what's your style? Are you one of those people you have to plan it out on paper first, draw up an outline, or you just letting the characters tell the story in your mind?
Like the story for AMETHYST I had written in a writing course 10 years before, just as a short story. So we're talking about 3 pages or something, 4 pages, and it was basically kind of the opening of AMETHYST I saying that he was in an accident. He lost his mother, and then here comes the father, and it stayed with me. I couldn't get it out of my mind. So when I sat down to write it, it just took off all by itself.
Wow.
Characters came alive. At one point, I remember I'm writing a scene, and this character just walks into the scene, and I'm like, okay, well, who are you? I give this guy a name, and then what are you doing here? And I was discovering it as it was going on, and at one point I'm like, wow, this is really cool. I keep on writing, so it's pretty fun. I have just as much fun, I think, creating it as people might have reading it afterwards.
Absolutely. Now, since you have Tommy and you have Jaden, now you said Jaden is the female, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Are they like childhood friends right now, and we can see, your fans can see this blossoming into something more?
Yeah, they developed a friendship in the first book. In the second book, their feelings deepen even more. For me, I remember one of my friends who had read it before it was published, and she goes, well, why aren't they kissing? I said, they're 15 years old. They're not kissing in my book. But, I'm keeping it clean. It's fine. And in the second book that will be coming out shortly, well, like I said, they're 18, but they're discovering that, they actually do have feelings for each other that are maybe deeper than this. So it's nice. I like the way the friendship is developing between the two of them.
Yeah, and you see that a lot in some of your science fiction movies, novels, where you have these 2 young kids. I guess can you call them lovers at that age, or are they just friends, girlfriend, going steady? Do they still use that term?
I have no idea. I'll see what they tell me what they're doing.
Yeah, we gotta keep up with them rascals. It's hard to tell these days. But so they just really, really good friends. They're 15, and 15 they are doing a little bit more at 15.
Oh yeah. On Earth they are doing a little bit more, but over there it's like I said, their society is a little more idealistic maybe than what we have over here. And Tommy's insulted at one point when his father refers to him as being a child, and he goes, I'm 15, and he's really, really insulted. And he says, no. When he finds himself in a situation on the planet where he has to put, his martial arts skill or his survival skills to work to keep the group alive, he realizes, I'm not ready to be an adult. So
he's not ready. At 15, you're almost ready. Especially living on that planet, I'm sure the kids are not really looked at as kids. They looked at as what, like soldiers? Is that how they view them?
No, for them they're really until they hit the age of 18, they're kids.
Yeah, because that movie that Will Smith was just recently in, and he was like some kind of commander, and his son.
Yeah, with his son, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. How his son he was trying to make him grow up and carry himself like a soldier or a commander's son. Mm-hmm. And I said, wow, he didn't have a chance to really be a kid. Made him grow up pretty fast. And then I was thinking about that book, that movie that Sandra Bullock was in, where they couldn't exchange bodily fluids on that planet. It's like everything was like inside of a memory, a headgear. Okay. That was pretty. I thought that was pretty interesting. I said, wow, they really took it out there where you can't really touch anyone. It's actually, I think, a crime or something. So if you want to engage with anything with your spouse, significant other, you have to wear a helmet, and then he's sitting across from you in a pit. That was great. So you see a little bit of like things that's real futuristic. Now, how deep could your mind? What was one of the most startling things that came out of your mind that you're like, wow, did that come out of me that you put in this book?
I think it's a mixture of different things about how, because when I wrote the book, I created the society, I created the rules, I created the way people interact with each other, with their kids, the expectations for them, and then there's all the technology also. The good part was that since Tommy had just arrived on board, he knew nothing. So as he was learning, well, this is how the shower works, and this is where we get our food, and this is how things are done over here. Well, the readers get to learn at the same time.
Right. And
I tried to make it was really, really, really important for me to make it as believable as possible and as easy as possible to believe. I did a lot of research looking at, the technology we have now and the things that are possible, and use, stuff that for us would be possible in the future, better technology and what have you. And,
that's right.
It was great, and like at one point he does get to have a chance to go back to Earth, and he brings Jaden with him. So she gets a chance to look around at what he was living in, how things were for him, and she kind of understands, well, no wonder you didn't fit in.
That's right. So in other words, she had a chance to see like automobiles with 4 wheels, and were they doing something a little bit more than traveling? I mean, I know they weren't doing time traveling, but how were they traveling when they was in that other world?
Well, they're on a spaceship because they go from basically one planet or one colony to another one to see how they're doing. They have their routine inspections, and then they have their different colonies that are on a tighter watch because things aren't going so well. They have interventions where they have to actually move a group of people to either a different continent on their planet or to a different planet completely. So,
oh, that's right. I forgot that was I forgot you said that was that group that had to intervene if they saw something was about to happen real traumatic to a planet. So they were like a
so the kids because those that had been, because when they're 15 they go through something some kind of test, like they're basically in a holographic setting where first there's images that come, and then at one point by their response, because the computer's monitoring their thoughts and their reactions, then it becomes scenarios where they can actually interact as if it was a real person. So they're thrown in different situations, and again on how they react physically and mentally to what's going on, the situations and scenes will adapt. And this test goes on for 5 hours, and when they're done, they're told, well, your place will be, you're either medical personnel, or you can be command personnel, or you're an artist, you can go create stuff somewhere else, or you're just a musician or a cook or whatever. And it's decided for them what their place will be later on.
Wow.
As part of these results. And then what they start doing from 15 to 18 is their schooling is slightly adapted to prepare them slowly to their specific training that they will start when they're 18. So because they've kind of picked out that he's got, fast reflexes, he can make decisions rapidly, and he's got, he'll get in there to help people. He's not afraid to it. So eventually he'll end up working on the same crisis intervention vessel as his father.
Mm-hmm.
You get to go down and watch at one point when they're preparing for a colony transfer. But being a group of teenagers and all together, of course, one gets on someone else's nerves, and they end up, Jaden goes running off into the woods, and then Tommy goes running after Jaden. But because the officer that was there told them to stay together, while the rest of the group followed, and they get themselves lost.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of end up stuck out in the middle of nowhere, and like, now what do we do, type of thing. So.
Mm-hmm. The funny thing about when I interview people who have written sci-fi books, I'm like, wow, why couldn't this been a television show? And I can actually go, because you tell such a great story, and I can actually see them running, into the woods, and now you have this guy in charge. Like, what do I do? This look on his face.
I had a lot of fun because the military experience, my survival training. Because, like I said, I'm Air Force, so right now I'm working with an Army group, and like I told my commanding officer, I said, I'm Air Force. I said the only reason we're in the bush is because we either crashed or we jumped out.
Right.
I said, you guys throw a pack on your back and walk in, like you'll spend we'll set up camp here and let's cook this. And I said, no, us, when we crash, it's like you got a Band-Aid and a pen in your pocket. Well, you've got to build a shelter. You've got to make a fire. You've got to make sure, first aid is done if anyone's bleeding, if they're still alive. It's like, it's survival. So the mentality is very different, but I was able to use this knowledge for Tommy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, like martial arts and pretty much, everything that I've gone through, I was able to get some information going in through the book, which was a lot of fun for me to do.
That's right. And it seemed like, with sci-fi writers, you guys really have to think outside the box. You have to be really innovative. Your readers have read and have seen everything when it comes to, being marveled at some idea that was written on the pages. But it seemed like you guys are really good at, twisting something and like, wow, I never seen that before. Or you'll say, oh, I heard this storyline before, move to the next one. Was that a concern in the beginning, when you were writing the book?
It didn't bother me because I didn't like plot out the story. So I didn't think that I'd have to do this or I'd have to do this, something else. And what was fun is in the book on Earth, I had specific ideas in mind. Like I knew I wanted him to live near the Rocky Mountains because I wanted him to be like an hour up the mountain from town. And I wanted him to be near like an Indian tribe or band. I'm having a bit of problems, with the translations today or the new words or politically correct terms. But and it took me 2 weeks to find that this town actually exists, but it's in Invermere, British Columbia, because originally I wanted to put it more around Montana or something of the sort.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the main not the main character, but one of the primary characters would be Two Feathers, and he's like the tribal shaman from the Kootenai tribe up there. And I've let myself go and have a lot of fun with saying, like, letting the mystic side out from him. So, you have a comparison at one point of, like, what we can do with technology and what he can do just because he's, his shamanistic powers or something of the sort. So it was fun, and I didn't really give myself a hard time about the technology or creating things. I let them happen on their own, and I just tried to explain it in a very easy way that it was just, there it is, this is what it looks like, and deal with it. That's right.
And fun for any age to read. That's the fantastic thing about it all. But Debbie, we appreciate you coming on here telling us about your book, and congratulations to you and the baby, the family, and everything. We wish you guys the best, and we look forward to seeing you come out with more and more fantastic sci-fi fiction books.
Well,
awesome.
Thank you so much for having me. It was great fun.
Yeah, you were a great guest, and I'm hoping to find some more sci-fi guests out there. I mean, wow, I love the stories you guys tell. I mean, because it's something that I can't just sit here and, like sometimes you listen to other genres and you never know where it's going to go. You think you can figure it out, you never can figure it out.
Well, some people have said that they read the book and said, every time I thought I knew what was going to happen, it was something else. Yeah. And I had some other people saying, I don't like science fiction. She goes, but I love the book. So. Yeah,
it's funny, right? Because some people say that, I don't want to read. Well, what's the difference? You're reading a sci-fi book than, some of your other, genres out here that's, still fiction. They're still trying to entertain you. That's the thing about it. They just want to tell you a good story, something you never heard.
Exactly.
That's right. Good for you. Good for you. So happy for you. All right. Is there any last final thoughts you'd like to leave with our audience tonight on replay?
Thanks for listening in. I'm really grateful to have had this opportunity to share the book and some of the stories with you. I really enjoyed talking to you, Jerry. You're amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're welcome, Deb. You were amazing also. And again, good luck with the book, your family, those that you meet, and have a good time when you hit those sci-fi events, all right, on me.
Thank you very much.
I wish I could. Maybe one day I'll run into you one day. As my show grows, they afford to be able to send me on travel. That's what I'm looking forward to. All right, everybody. It's Jerry Royce Live on PositivePower21.org. Check out Debbie Brown. She's going to be around for a while, and we're looking forward to reading her book. I really am. Take care, everybody. Have a good night. Bye-bye. And it's Amethyst Eyes, right? Did I say that right again?
You said it right.
I hope I did. Good. All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Positive Power 21 Network. Team 21 would like to thank you all for tuning in, and please spread the word and tell a friend. This is Jerry Royce at Positive Power 21, where we get our positive on.
PositivePower21.org, Internet Radio.
Thank you. That's a wrap. Jerry Royce Live. PositivePower21.org and Spreaker.com/PositivePower21.